Health and Human Services Committee to order. We'll deal with the social services. We're going to dispense with the approving the minutes from the last month's meeting. We will do that when we have the regular committee meeting next month. So with that, I will turn it over to Cynthia.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming on this terribly snowy day. I'm here on behalf of Maureen Schmidt, the Commissioner, who couldn't be here today. So I'm Cynthia Schrock-Seely, Deputy Commissioner and also Chief Legal Counsel, which is probably good. I was going to come anyway to kind of bolster in our first two requests. So you want me to move right along into those?
Certainly, yes.
Okay, the third request is fairly simple, so that should be an easy one. So what we're doing today, we wanted to call a special meeting because, as you may know, we've been here several times over the past couple of years with regard to our legal staff. We've had a couple of excellent attorneys, unfortunately, leave us in the past couple of years, and we have a terrible time recruiting for new attorneys. We do have someone in one of the positions right now, excellent attorney. I have a lot of stats as far as his caseload right now. He's taking over as much as he possibly can with me filling in the conflicts and the gaps in the absence of our second assistant social services attorney. And he is, as I said, well qualified, many, many years of experience, much more than our traditional applicants. We did start him at the salary that was offered for the beginning of the year this year, but given his tenaciousness, his ability to withstand all the pressures of the office, especially in the absence of our last attorney the past few months, I definitely think he's worth a raise at this point, more than just the standard 2.5% or 2.9% that was offered for 2018. The second request is with regard to the vacant position as well. I'm not really sure of the history of why this happened, but when the position became vacant with Attorney Mary leaving in September, her salary was at, I believe, $71,400. It ended up being put into the 2018 budget at a set amount of $65,000. It's not really appropriate in any event to go back down quite so far. However, our postings have traditionally been for people with just a year or two out of law school experience. So it may have been appropriate for somebody with those minimal qualifications. So at this point, as I have alluded to, we are having some difficulties recruiting, and we have been the past couple of years. Prior to that, we had assistant attorneys in that same position who mostly prosecuted the family court cases for 6 years at a time. 2008 to 2014 was the last person before I came to social services. So the position did have a longer history of people, so it's really been the past couple of years. I do think the salary has a little bit to do with it. As you may or may not know, the salaries vary pretty widely around the county for the different attorney positions. The last time I was here was actually about 2 years ago, beginning of 2016, when I requested for Attorney Mary's salary to be boosted. And I think at that time it was about $3,000. And we generally, at that time, associated it with a position we thought to be somewhat similar in the county, which was an assistant county attorney position. So that's kind of how we chose that salary. That is actually how I came up with this figure right here as well, and I feel like it's more than warranted. I can certainly go into that.
All right, well, so we're right on number one then, right? We're making the request to increase the salary of the vacant assistant from $65,000 to $73,567. So we're dealing with that one first, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the committee. Let's see if we have questions. Supervisor McDonald, or you want to bring it to the floor?
I don't have any issue with this whatsoever. I think we need to have a functional department. We need to be able to have the staff to do the work and compensate the staff adequately. So,
Oh, I agree with you on that. Would you like to make that a motion?
absolutely.
All right, a second to that motion. Supervisor McDevitt, any questions on that? Supervisor Thomas?
Yeah, well, this happened because of resolution number 357 of 2017 took place on September 18th. Where we went from 71.4 down to 65. And we're back here in December, wanting to raise it up to 73,567. I don't understand.
Well, first of all, I was under the impression that Maureen was the one who made that recommendation that it go back down. At least that's what I've been hearing. But I guess what Cynthia is saying now, that whoever she apparently has in mind for this position feels is this amount is warranted for the amount of work that he does and the experience that he has. But then again, does that mean we don't have the money in the budget for it then, Frank?
Well, what
Right, what,
I can also speak to the reimbursement percentage that we get back with the specific amounts.
okay, let's, Kevin, you
Well,
want?
yeah, well, that's my only concern is, you know, we put together a budget, we come up with a amount of money, and within, it's not enough. I guess what we really need is start getting our act together and understanding what we need to pay people. Now, is it my understanding this person doesn't work for Warren County now? The one you want to raise the...
With regard to the vacant position, yes, it's open. We have not made a job.
Well, is that the first or second?
That's the first.
That's the first.
Yeah,
That's vacant.
the one we're on.
Is there somebody working over there now?
There's one person working.
Is that the one you want to transfer around money for?
There's two separate requests. We would like to boost both positions up to what we feel is warranted.
No, that isn't the question. The person that's working presently, is that the one you want to move to?
Is that the one you're talking about for number one? Or are we down to number
No,
two?
I'm confused.
Okay, I'm not sure how to answer that because the person who is actually working right now is the one whose salary is set at $67,000.
Okay, so we have a person working over there at 67.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any difference if they're one or two, and you want to
Right.
raise that up to 73 because of the workload or the experience?
Both.
See, I thought we were going to raise it back to the 71, which was the pay of the, I believe, the deputy county attorney. That's the way it was explained to me. It's changing.
So I can speak to that a little bit.
Yep.
Let's just say Attorney Mary was still here at the salary of $71,400.
Is that what she left at?
That's what she left at.
So why did we cut it? I mean, I don't understand. I know you haven't filled the positions in, 3-4 months, and I know you got a need for it, but it just goes counterproductive. I mean, it's...
Why do we drop it back to 60?
I guess it's crazy, you know, and then we're not filling, we drop it back and we don't hire anybody. We need to help. I agree with Supervisor McDonald, we need to help, and it seems like the right thing to do. But I just guess, you know, we just can't keep doing this. We just gotta really get our act together and try to hone in on these salaries and understand that we're gonna get people. You know, I know you've been 3 months without one, it's that's not fair, so
That makes the workload that much
Well,
greater for the few people that are there doing it.
I do, and we need to get that department where it needs to be.
Right, Supervisor.
I'm on personnel, just,
Okay. Oh, you're not, okay, go ahead, Williams.
So the salary, the person that, or the attorney that is leaving is at 71,000.
Gone. That
They've
one's
gone, they're gone.
Okay.
September.
One flew over.
So the 73, is that the, how did you come up with the 73? That person would have received the 2.9? How do you do the numbers?
If that salary had received a 2.9 increase, which seems to be what the other position received in the proposed budget, it would be within $100 of that. But I did not realize that before I chose that number. I actually chose it due to the position that the Assistant County Attorney was listed in for 2018. But it would be extremely similar, so I would be happy with that figure as well. It's within $100.
Right. Supervisor Conover, I saw your hand.
Yeah, the position should have a salary that the position pays. The years of service are the requirement to hold the position. So, for example, you have certain positions that require 5 years of experience. And so anyone who has 5 years or more experience is qualified to move into that position. I think that if it was, if I'm hearing it correctly, if it was not adjusted within the budget based on the percentage, then that was a mistake. It should have been adjusted. That's one explanation. But I don't think we should be bouncing around, this is Gary's point, we shouldn't be bouncing around based on the experience or qualifications of a particular individual. The position demands what the position demands based upon education and experience. I think that it's just much better when we stay focused on that as opposed to, we've had other departments where we've adjusted based on people, and then we're adjusting back and we're being whipsawed, and it's hard to explain, these kinds of...
Well, we have two procedures. We have one that we use with the union, and we go through that reallocation on occasion with the union for different positions, and then these are non-union positions, correct?
Yes.
And then we change. I mean, I just wish we would understand what we're doing. Understand you got a staff, and understand these are attorney positions, so that's all. And I understand we're not getting anybody, guys. We haven't had anybody in 3 months, 4 months.
Edna, just what prompted us to go back down to 65? What was the justification?
I don't know if Cynthia has any idea. I don't know, and I couldn't contact Maureen last week to kind of question that. She was in the hospital, so there was really no way that I could check with her on it. I don't know if Cynthia has any explanation, but...
Chalk it up to a mistake.
Yeah, it could be an error,
Made a mistake.
but now we need to adjust. I'm just saying, we need to go easy.
Was there a good reason why it went back down?
I can honestly say I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right.
Before any more, Jackie, do you or Trish have anything to add to this? No? Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
Just say that there has been recruiting difficulty for this position, so over and over again. So that is a concern.
Okay.
So aren't we really talking about supply and demand? And at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of the system is telling us something. We're not being overwhelmed with applications. So the marketplace is telling us something that we have to adjust, I think. I guess the adjustment should be upwards to hopefully meet a demand.
Right.
To your point.
Oh,
Supervisor Simpson, go ahead. I'll get him in a
To your
minute.
point, but I think what's happened in other departments is we've looked at the person rather than what the market is telling us, what the position actually demands. And that's where I think we're getting back and forth.
I appreciate that, but at the end of the day, we have a need over here.
And we need to take care of it, we really do. So, all right, Supervisor Sokol, your hand was up, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity, do we know if surrounding counties are paying for this?
It's very difficult to tell. We did a lot of research to try to find out either online or anecdotally from people. Many of the legal departments at counties are combined DSS and county attorney, so you can't really tell what people's job responsibilities are, and also the way a lot of counties list their budgets is all grouped together in one lump sum for salaries. I can tell you that a recent posting for a county who's much smaller than ours, and I say recent, this past week, they're listing an assistant social services attorney, same exact position as ours, for 35 hours per week, which we require 40, $64,871 to a range of up to $79,000. So in that county is only about 49,000 people, much smaller. So we have been traditionally low. I can tell you when the attorney that left when Attorney Mary and I came in 2014, he had been in the position for 6 years. His salary in 6 years was boosted almost $16,000 over that period of time. So it's been traditionally low, and I think finally people realize what a difficult job it is. I mean, this year so far we've appeared in 13 different courts. We have 6 courts in Warren County alone that right now 2 of us are trying to handle, and they're not very accommodating scheduling-wise. So on an average day, the assistant attorney has 6 cases between family court and support court. And then we still have paperwork to do. So it's a ton of work. It's a ton of thinking. You need time to do that too. So we really need the help.
So the basic problem is that we budgeted 71.4, but did not account for the 2.9%.
I believe when the budget discussions were happening and when the budget was going through, that's prior to even our notice of Attorney Mary leaving. She actually left gave notice in September, left 2 weeks later. The amount may have been come up with by Commissioner Schmidt right at that time, or just prior to her leaving, so I don't think she knew that, but I can't be sure what the reasoning was behind that. If I was involved, it probably wouldn't have happened.
All right, Doug, and then I want to get back to the committee.
I agree with Ron, and I also agree with Kevin.
Oh, that's twice, Dougie.
Yeah, I know it. It's a bad pattern.
Yeah.
A position should pay what a position should pay. Now, that being said, if we all agree that the position is actually being paid too low, okay, then maybe we need to go up a few thousand. But I get afraid when we start changing salaries, okay, because then another department will come to us and say, you know, Doug, I can't get somebody here, and I need to do this, this, and this, and we need to adjust the salary. It really opens up Pandora's box, and we've talked about this before. So I think we all need to get on some type of same page. Should the position pay $71,000 or $72,000, whatever, and it doesn't matter if Joe Schmo's got 20 years or the minimum requirement, whichever that may be, 4 years or 5 years, that's what the position pays, okay? We can't be dickering around and changing things on the fly, because that opens up all these other potential problems. So I probably would support going up. I don't like it, but I would probably support going up somewhat. If you feel, though, see, here's the other question. If we go up 3,000 or 4,000, are we going to be flooded with applications then? I don't think so. I've done a ton of hiring too, and when I went up 3,000 or 4,005, I didn't get flooded with all these applicants. Hey, that's the magic number. So I'm not sure that, you know, you see what I'm saying? We could go up 3,000 or 4,000. You may not get any more applicants than you did before, or you may. We don't know. So let's get it to a number that we all can agree on, in my opinion, and then let's stay with that, and let's not jockey it around if Joe Schmo comes in with 20 years experience, or Mary does, or whoever. Let's not change it just because of that. That's my 2 cents.
All right, now let's go back to the committee then. I want to hear the input from the committee, your feeling on whether we want to go with this resolution, you want to change the salary to drop it down to something else. I'd kind of like to see what you have to say. Ron?
You know, going from 65 to 73 just seems like a big jump. I mean, what about the 71 that a lady left?
The 71.4 that she left at?
Yeah.
All right, what do you think, Peter?
I don't have a problem going to the number just based on what Cynthia has said. I mean, we're basically averaging 6 hearings a day or something along those lines, and we still can't fulfill a position based on what appears to be the number. Again, it comes back to supply and demand, and we have a need, that we're dealing with complicated stuff, and if we had 27 people apply for the position, then I'd say, hey, maybe we're too high, but that's not the case.
All right, Matt?
Pretty similar to that statement there. At the end of the day, I think 65,000 for this position is just it seems very low. The market, you have to pay attention to the market. You really do. You can't just say, well, this position is worth this much. Well, it's really not if you're not getting any interest. Is 3,000 going to bring in more applications, like Supervisor Beatty said? I don't think so. But I think you need to be realistic about it and say the unemployment rate is very low right now. Attorneys coming out of school right now with a couple of years of experience that you alluded to before. I mean, you know how much student loan debt that is? I'm living that life right now.
I know you are.
And that, seriously, 65,000. I'm looking private sector, please. So we need to be realistic about this. And Supervisor Conover, you nailed it. Position is what it is, but 65 is too low for this.
I have to agree with you on that, too. I mean, I look at the workload they have. They certainly have to be behind now that they have been without somebody else for 3 months. So I think the longer we sit here and try to figure out what direction to go, Supervisor
Edward, one of the questions...
Just a minute, let me... Ron's hand is up.
We every year, go through during budget time, adjustment to positions, non-union positions, correct? We adjusted salaries. Yep. And those aren't all vacant positions. There are people in those positions, because what we do is we go through an evaluation that says this position isn't paying enough. We need to adjust this. We need to be competitive. I think it's very important that all the departments correctly participate in that within their departments, because that's the time when we sit down as a group and we look at that and we say, yeah, these positions, we've had engineering positions, we've had all types of positions, but we've adjusted significantly over a number of years to get them to where they need to be. But what happens when you don't participate in that, or you're kind of in midstream, now you're coming, almost unilaterally. And it's not that we can't do it this way, it's just not, in my opinion, the recommended way to do it. So I think going forward, my recommendation would be when you have positions that you have concern about filling, whether people in them presently or not, that they feel, you need to communicate that to the county administrator, and so he can communicate correctly with the budget officer, because we all sit down with that sheet each year and try to develop consensus over what we think about that. So that would be my only coaching message to you or to whoever, that we do make adjustments and we try to do it as fairly as we can. But there's a time limit.
I'm just going to, one comment I'm going to make, I feel there maybe was a little bit of, maybe a lack of communication in your department. I'm just being blunt about it. So that maybe this should have happened, but because of that lack of communication, it did not happen. I'm sorry, but that is...
And we have to deal with it.
Okay, and we have to deal with it, but I'm just going to be, that's my feeling on
Going
it.
forward, I think that the department should...
And I agree with you 100%, Ron.
Learn from this so that they can communicate well going forward. That's
Right.
Edna, the question I have is, since this is not, we're not going to go back out into the market with a new price. You've already selected someone to fill this position. Am I correct in that?
It's been open and the position is closed right now. So we do have...
You have a person to put in at 73.
We have an applicant in mind.
Okay. So,
All right, Trish?
I'm just going to say that if we raise it that much, we may have to do a short interim period to address that posting, because it is a substantial increase. Because this position is a competitive position. This training and experience review is different than a regular competitive position that is not exempt like the county attorney. So we would do the absolute minimum period of time to post to give an opportunity for that salary for everyone. who
okay.
might be interested.
That was my question. If we're going to raise it, it has to go back out again. So, and then the other question I have is are both the attorney positions equal in terms of workload?
It would be, yes.
Yeah,
which
okay.
is why we wanted to make
Yeah,
them the same.
thank you.
Which goes to the point of it doesn't matter who's in the position.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back. Matt made a motion. The motion was seconded by Mr. McDevitt. Can we move forward to vote on that motion now? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, Cynthia, let's try number 2.
So the second request is for a resolution to request an increase in the salary for the Assistant Social Services Attorney, employee number 13018, from the current 2017 amount 57,000 to a total of 73,567, and that would be for 2018 going forward.
I'll put that on the floor, Mrs.
All right,
Chairman.
a second to that, Mr. McDevitt. All right, any discussion? And I think she's right. If they're going to be doing the same job, they should be getting the same salary. But moving forward, any other movement that we need, I guess we do need to communicate and make sure we're all on the same page with that. Okay? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, Cynthia, number 3.
Number 3 is request to transfer funds in the amount of $10,000. And this is for the countryside budget. This is from their contingent account to cover overtime costs through the end of the year.
All right, so then I'm assuming he's had a bit of overtime, right?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't talked to him lately, but, all right, would someone like to bring that motion to the floor?
I'll introduce it.
Mr. Montesi, seconded by Supervisor McDonald. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Anything else, Cynthia?
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time today. Thank you.
And we appreciate your coming, but we should try to get together too, so if there are any of these issues that need to be resolved, I'll be more than happy to get together with you. Okay?
Thank you, everybody.
Motion to adjourn. Supervisor McDonald, seconded by Supervisor Montesi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.